This is kind of hard. Hi everybody, this is Rose, the blogger from My Animosity, and this is actually going to be a really interesting video. Really the only second tag video I've ever done. The first tag video I did was a what's in my beach bag video, and then one of my subscribers, the cute, the adorable MichelleMusicNote, she actually asked me to do, or tagged me to do this video, and this is the My Perfect Imperfections tag that Andrea's Choice came up with. It's a really, really interesting kind of concept. You have to look at yourself and open up about 3 things that you dislike about yourself that other people may not know about you, or usually there are things that someone may not know about you unless you're like a constant whiner. And then you need to end the video with 3 things that you like about yourself. So you might find this interesting, or you might be able to relate to the things that I'm about to share with you guys. Okay, well, the first thing I'm going to start off with is the 3 things I dislike about myself. And this first thing has plagued me since I was a kid because I was just teased nonstop about it, but it is my head. I am very petite. I'm 5'1", and I swear to God, my head has been this size since I was like 5. I was like a walking lollipop, and of course, God, kids just tormented me when I was in elementary school, and, you know, bullies, we don't forget this crap, so, you know, stop making yourself feel better with your insecurities by bullying other people. But anyway, and just to kind of share a story, I hate bringing an ex up, but anyway, I had an ex who, he had a motorcycle, and so, you know, we had our own helmets because I would ride with him. And at the time that he got his motorcycle, he had dreadlocks. And, you know, a 6'2" man with dreadlocks. The helmet he had was either a large or extra large. I can't remember. I think it was an extra large, I hate to say. But one night we got on the subject of our heads and stuff, and how, I don't know. But I tried on his extra large men's motorcycle helmet, and it fit my head perfectly when it was like snug on his head because he had dreadlocks. If that's not an indicator of how big my head is, then I don't know what is. But another thing, my girlfriends kind of have a joke whenever we take pictures, you know, going out, you know, like the self-portraits, like, hey. Normally when my friends, you know, pose with me, I have to purposely move my head back so that my head is like not eclipsing their head in the picture. And if you want to see what I mean, I'll throw in a couple snapshots where obviously my head takes up most of the frame. The second thing, I can't really show you guys because I'm not about to put on that type of show for you. A second thing that, I'll leave the really embarrassing thing for last of my dislikes, but the second thing I would say that I really dislike about myself that I can't show you would be my back, my spine to be specific. I suffer from scoliosis, and unfortunately it was not detected until I was in the 7th grade, I think. And I was a very quiet, very meek, very introverted child growing up, and so when I was like 10, of course, I noticed that there was something wrong with my body. But I was just almost just too afraid to speak up to my parents. Why? Well, no, I could kind of understand why. Growing up in an Asian / specifically a Korean / military household, I was just too afraid to tell my parents that I thought that there was something wrong with me. But, of course, in middle school, they did the whole scoliosis checkups or physicals, whatever, and, of course, it was very, very noticeable. My back, it's not as bad as it used to be, but when I was in the 7th grade, like, I could stand there and you could definitely just tell in my clothes, if you looked at me straight on it, there was something wrong. My shoulders were off, were not symmetrical. My ribs, I think it was my right rib that was higher than the other, and the hump that was on my back was just very, very obvious, and even my hips were kind of slanted and tilted. My spine, I have the typical scoliosis where if you just look at my spine, like if you looked at my x-ray straight on, it looks like an S. But the really extra difficult, unique factor about my case is that my spine was shaped like an S, but it was also off kilter. It was tilted. So when it was detected in middle school, it began, you know, every other month checkups with, I think it's an orthopedic doctor. I had to have x-rays done on my spine every other month where the curvature was measured, because my body had matured to a fact that a brace would not make my back straight. A brace would basically stop it. The only other remedy besides a brace would have been surgery, and the idea of 2 steel rods put in my back just completely freaked me out. I never had any type of surgery at that point. Still haven't, by the way. And my parents, of course, they didn't want to go that route. Basically, for about a year, I had to go to a back doctor every other month, have x-rays done where they measured the curve just to see whether or not, after I began wearing the brace, whether or not the curvature would worsen. And besides that, I wore the brace, and I also went through physical therapy where I had exercises that I had to do with my back because my stomach muscles and my back muscles were extremely weak when I was in middle school. So thankfully, after a year, the curve stopped. And then for a couple of months, we just kind of tested to see whether or not it would worsen if I didn't do the physical therapy exercises as much and did not wear the brace as much. And thankfully, after a couple of months, the doctor concluded that the curve wasn't going to get any worse. And basically, at my age of, what, I was in the 7th grade, so I think I was 12 maybe. My doctor basically told me, and I still remember these words, you know, so many years later, that I needed to become more active. I needed to basically, once I hit puberty, like, or finished going through puberty, I basically need to become more active and build muscle tone. Because in my late 20s, early 30s, if I wasn't an active person, if I didn't build my stomach, my back muscles, then I would probably have or begin suffering arthritis in my lower back by the age of 30. So my spine, I guess it's kind of like a good and evil thing mixed together because it's my motivation for being the healthy person I am now. Basically, if I slack off with exercising for, I think the slacking period I can get along is about 2 months, I began having severe daily lower back pain, so. But, because of my back, obviously I've gotten over a lot of things, because when I go to the beach, I wear a bikini, and then with the pinup modeling and some of the swimsuit and lingerie modeling I've done, I've accepted some things, but it is still something that bothers me, because you'll never see me in a backless dress, you'll never see me wearing a backless shirt or anything like that. Now the third thing is really personal, really embarrassing. I cannot believe I'm about to talk about this, but I've watched some imperfection tags and seen, you know, other girls talk about this next subject, but the last thing would have to be my boobs. Now, some of my friends will shoot me for saying it because they often compliment them. I'm very petite, I'm 5'1", and, you know, I cannot believe I'm talking about this. My boobs are a C cup. The one thing that I don't like about them is the fact that they are asymmetrical, where I know that's a normal thing. I know the statistic out there is that natural breasts are not ever perfectly proportionate. Well, along with my crooked back in middle school, once I developed fully, and actually I was a late bloomer, I didn't fully develop until like the summer between my sophomore and my junior year of high school, they were huge. Like, my boobs were, when I was in high school, they're a lot bigger than they are now because I'm so active and I'm older. They've downsized just a tad. But when I was younger, though, the difference in cup size between the two boobs was probably almost a full cup size, so it was very noticeable. I wore special bras with pads and inserts on the side that was smaller. Oh my god, it was awful. It was like a daily pain. Now it's something that it's not as noticeable, where I don't like wear special padding or anything like that. Alright, so the awkward dislike conversation is over. Let me actually get into the last part of this tag, which is you talking about 3 things that you like about yourself. I think the first thing I would say that I like about myself is my size. I am very petite. I'm 5'1", and often people think because you're short that they can walk all over you or they can bully you, and I really, really love proving them wrong. I also like my size because I often sneak up on people when I don't mean to. At work, I scare people constantly because they won't know that I'm behind them or that I've walked up to their area or to the doorway or whatever. I scare the crap out of people all the time. My boss calls me a little ghost. I feel like since I'm petite, I definitely have to work harder because certain things are just a challenge. In my spare time, I run 5K races, and all my friends that run with me, they're like 5'11", 5'10", and they always make fun. Oh, for every 1 step I have to take, you have to take 2 or 3. I'm like, ha 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 ha, whatever. Okay, the second thing I would say that I like about myself would probably be, it's funny, thinking of dislikes or things that you don't like about yourself, well, at least to me, seem easier than me talking about things that I like about myself. I would say it would have to be my arms, which I know is strange, but I used to be not a very active person. Like, I gained weight my freshman and sophomore year of college, and you know, went on the zone diet and lost all the weight, and then I kind of fell off the wagon. And then once my last relationship ended, that was like my motivation to get healthy, because my ex was a huge health nut. So I started doing P90X, which I love, and then I started running. My 1-year anniversary was actually July 21st. With the P90X, you do quite a bit of weightlifting, and you know, my arms were usually just these long sausages with no muscle tone now. But since I've become active, I have really good definition on my arms. I've not lifted a weight actually in over a month. I've just focused on running for the last wee bit. But my arms, I don't know if I can really fit them in the shot, but you know, they tend to have pretty good definition. This is very awkward. And then I really like that thing, my shoulder, and then my upper back normally is pretty defined. And I've had guys compliment me on my triceps. I guess women tend to not have very defined triceps, and apparently I do. But anyway, that's strange. Now the third thing I would have to say would be my eyes, because most Asian eyes, they tend to be monolids, where they don't have the crease, and my eye makeup is so heavy where you can't really tell. But if you look at my past videos where I'm not wearing any makeup or very little, you know that I actually have a crease in my lid, so I don't have a monolid. A monolid is basically Asian women that have like the eye like this, where they don't have a crease. It's just like a hooded, like a flat, not flat, but a smooth surface. Their eye doesn't crease like mine does. Yeah, you see that crease there? And so a lot of my Korean friends that wish they could wear like smokier eye looks, which is possible for you monolid girls out there. There's possibilities. You just have to kind of use a different application method. One other thing I like about my eyes is that you probably can't really tell, but they are like just plain brown. They're not dark brown. That's something that I didn't notice until like, honestly, until I was like after the age of 18. Somebody pointed them out while we were outside, like, oh wow, your eyes are not black and they're not dark brown, they're actually brown. And I guess the last thing I would like about them is their size. You know, I do have almond-shaped slanted eyes, but they're also on the larger side. It's funny because when I'm mad, people often tell me that they hate looking me in the eye because I'll just have this like evil gaze on my face. I of course tag all of you and encourage you to leave your videos as video responses for me to watch. And if you're on YouTube and you don't make any videos, then I encourage you to leave in a comment. Do the tag basically in a comment. Tell me 3 things that you dislike about yourself, and then 3 things that you like about yourself, so we can just start conversating about, you know, the interesting things that we hate about ourselves that other people probably wouldn't notice. And this was fun. And thank you, Michelle, for tagging me and asking me to do this. Again, this is Rose from My Randomosity, and thank you for watching this crap. Bye!